Hello and welcome to the APS 30. I'm Monica Armenta, the host of this show. We hope that you'll get a chance regularly to tune in and find out some of the things about Albuquerque Public Schools that maybe don't always make the headlines, but definitely are happening in the community with such a large school district, 142 schools, 14,000 employees, lots and lots of people, always things going on that we hope you'll like learning about. Today we have the honor of having with us Dr. Jennifer Gomez-Chavez. Good to have you with us.
Thank you.
And you actually wear two hats. Today we're going to talk about the Unidos Project.
Yes.
But you are also the director at the University of New Mexico of Student Academic Success.
Yes, I am.
So I'm thrilled to have you because I have two kids there
Thank
who are
you.
doing phenomenal. Do you call them kids when they're in their 20s? Whatever.
Students.
Students, okay. But it's a pleasure to have you. And also our Chief of Staff for Albuquerque Public Schools, Joseph Escobedo. Joseph, always
Good
to be in your company. So let's start by talking first about the Unidos Project and what it is. It really is a phenomenal outreach project aimed at getting more Latinos, not just through high school, but all the way through their college years.
Yes.
How did this start?
So this is actually a wonderful opportunity that came to us 3 years ago with the Lumina Foundation. Many national organizations, as you all might know, have been really focused on Latino student success because they all know that Latinos are the fastest growing minority group in the nation. And so we were approached and invited to apply for a wonderful grant by the Lumina Foundation, and we received it. It was very competitive. We're one of 13 cities in the nation to really focus on how we can increase Latino student success. So we are partnered with APS, Central Community College, which is CNM, and the University of New Mexico, along with wonderful community organizations to really try to figure out how we can increase Latino student success within our community.
Before I ask Joseph to tell us a little bit about the Albuquerque Public School connection here, can you help the audience explain why there needs to be a project specific to Latinos and what we need to really get out to families, anyone who knows a person of any age of Latino descent who may be missing opportunities they don't know about?
Right. So we know, number one, that education empowers an individual. And we also know that in our community, we have a growing minority, which is Hispanics. And our next workforce is going to be primarily Hispanic individuals. But right now, a lot of our Latino students are not finishing high school. They're not even getting a skill or a credential, an associate's degree or an undergraduate college degree. And so the focus of Unidos is really to help our families get educated, gain a skill so that then they can provide financially for their families. But we also need leaders within our community. We need role models as our growing Hispanic population continues to grow quickly. We need more role models and inspiration to help and to help our youth really set high goals and reach their dreams. And so the Unidos Project is not just about getting a college degree, but it's also about gaining skills. So we're promoting associate's degrees, credentials in a specific skill-based area, as well as a college degree. Our hope is that we do get them to seek a 4-year degree and then seek a master's and then get their doctorates or become doctors or attorneys. But we're hoping that this movement will really build our community in a way so that we can continue to contribute to our own economy here in the state of New Mexico.
I think it's pretty awesome to be here today with both of you who are you doctoral candidates? And Joseph, you're really close to finishing.
Close, but she is doctor.
You are, that's right, you're already.
Yes.
So congratulations
Thank
to you,
you.
and what a wonderful role model you are for this particular project. Obviously, Joseph, with APS, because we get the kids coming in as early as pre-K sometimes all the way through college, there's a natural connection and a very real reason for us to be involved in this.
Well, and it's so important that we participate participate and collaborate with the University of New Mexico and Central New Mexico Community College. But what I think really is the power of this program is the collaboration with all of the services that are available to our students throughout the community. And so, for example, we have really the Unidos Project has put in a community school coordinator at West Mesa High School, which is focusing specifically on that community. So it's not just West Mesa High School, but it's the feeder schools that are coming in, students who are coming into that school, getting them to understand the expectations of having an education, whether it be a credential, an associate's degree, or to graduate from college, get your master's and get your doctorate. What's also very powerful is supporting not only the students, but supporting the families. It is important that we work with the families so that they understand the services that are available for them and their students. But from simple things like, many parents don't even have a GED in our community. So getting them to be able to get a GED and showing them the path that they could continue on to get a credential, an associate's degree. So September 20th is a huge day at West Mesa High School. There will be a resource fair from 10 to 2 o'clock so the community can come out there at West Mesa to understand not only the supports that are in place for educational supports, not only for themselves, whether it be from pre-K all the way through adults, but also the career opportunities that are available and health opportunities that the services that can be provided in this community. So it's really bringing together, that's the power of this. It's the collective impact, the bringing together of the entire services that are available for our community and having everyone talk to each other, because we don't know what certain groups are doing, and just to be able to realize that YDI is making a difference in certain populations. There's other community groups that are working, but having everyone collaboratively focused on the needs of students will bring up our educational attainment and really will have an economic impact in this city and in this state.
And the hardest thing I find is getting word out there that these programs A, exist, and that B, the people who are eligible are not always the people you might think about. Some of them maybe are more the traditional model, but I think with the change in the economy over the last 10, 12 years, we have really seen the dynamic shift as to where we are not throwing the net out far enough. We really need to put a face on who it is we're trying to attract, and it's hard to really single out people. So I think one of the important things about the Unidos Project is that you are really trying to attract everyone who is interested in making their life better and securing a better future. So can you talk a little bit about who might be interested in attending the resource fair? It is not limited to Spanish speakers only. You do not have to be bilingual. You don't have to meet any sort of socioeconomic group. It really is for anyone who's looking for a better way.
Right. So you bring up a great point, because the project is focused on the primary framework, as Joseph had explained, is collective impact. So we're coming together collectively from different perspectives, different points of views, organizations, educational institutions, even legislative leaders, to figure out how we can get an entire community to get the resources and services. So for the Community Resource Fair, we're really focused on anybody. There is a big push for individuals who might have stopped out of either high school or even college to come back. So we will have information regarding that. We also have, for families or any individuals who are looking for a job, we've partnered with Innovate Educate, who will have skills-based testing, their work keys assessment available on site, and there will be individuals there to help those individuals get information in terms of skills and possibly employment opportunities. We will, we're asking entire families to come. So you're absolutely right that it is open to anyone who wants to get back into the educational pathway. There's a lot of opportunities, there's a lot of support, and hopefully through the Unidos Project and all our wonderful organizations, we can give them the support that they need.
And what we know is that what's really important is having people just come into the resource fair.
Yes.
Because it is not just if you want to go and see what is the next degree or the next credential I need to get, or how do I get a GED. It's coming just to be exposed to the opportunities that we have in our community. And it may not be the opportunity for yourself, but it may be for your cousin, it may be for your brother, it may be for your sister, or even for your mother. And so or a friend, because there are so many opportunities and so much support services that we have, and that's the unique thing that's going on with Unidos, is everyone is coming together to say, what is the individual path and the support needed for Dr. Gomez? What's the individual support that's needed for Ms. Armenta? And so to reach your individual goals, there's so much support in our community that has never been brought together before, that this is a one-stop shop that you'll be able to come and just get a first glimpse of, perhaps CNM isn't that scary. UNM's a big place, but it really isn't that scary once you understand the system. People don't understand the system, and so that's what we're trying to do, is break down the barriers of being able to have that one-on-one conversation and not have these institutions be so be so fearful of the institutions.
They can be daunting, but in a time like this, I mean, I don't know of another state where you can attend the University of New Mexico on the lottery scholarship. That is a phenomenal opportunity.
Yes, it
on the other side, at CNM, to be able to complete a semester a year for $850, that low. There are great opportunities, but I think Joseph's right. It can be daunting to some folks, which is what I really like about the idea of the resource fair, is you've brought people from all different agencies together so that families, because it's not always about academics. If a family has issues in the house that they're dealing with someone who's ill, it could be mental illness, could be a physical illness. If for some reason there's been a layoff in the family, I think you've done a really good job of identifying key areas and issues that families are dealing with and bringing them under one roof so that they can ask questions. And I'm pretty sure, based on what I've seen about the Resource Center, it's going to be held in September, is the people who are there have a lot of answers, but even if it's not exactly what someone is looking for, they know where to send them. And that's got to be critical.
It is, and one of the things that I really admire about the Unidos Project is listening to the community. Because what the community has told us is have the resource fair within our community. And so as Joseph said, the link to that introduction of services programs where maybe families feel a little bit intimidated to approach, any type of service or educational institution, we're right there in the community trying to help our communities.
And this will be the second resource
This is
fair.
the second resource.
So just briefly, I heard the wonderful story of Susie Sarmiento,
Yes.
who attended last year. And Susie is very open about her experiences and her difficulties in life. And her 20-year-old son graduated from Albuquerque High School, I think last year, and is on a full scholarship to Brown University. But when you know her story, she's one of those people who really should not have made it if you believe the statistics.
Right.
But by knowing where to access the help and how to be really vigilant about her desire for a better life, this group has really helped her. So I hope that other people hear that today and take advantage of the resource fair. We'll have all the information up on aps.edu as the weeks build up to that September date, and we think it's a fabulous project. Another project that APS is working on that has some ties here also is our Men of Color. Can you talk a little about that, Joseph?
So the Albuquerque Public Schools Board of Education and Administration signed a national, basically a pledge that we would focus on gathering the data to see where are the barriers of our males of color who are not completing school. One of the areas that we really need to understand is where are they exiting? Where are they not making those transition points, and what services do they need to really not only complete high school, but to make that transition to the university or to CNM or into a career opportunity. The other thing we know from national statistics is that males of color, whether they be African American, Native American, or Hispanic is that they are suspended and disciplined in our schools nationwide at a greater rate and far more punishments than females and by their white male counterparts. And so what we are doing is the first step is looking at the data. We're pulling the data to see how Albuquerque Public School students compare nationally. And then we'll be looking at focus groups, a task force, if you will, to look at how do we improve academic efforts of males of color? How do we improve truancy rates of students? How do we keep students involved? How do we get more males of color involved in advanced placement courses and on track for college? And ultimately, how do we remove the barriers that are seen in many of our schools across the country that we do not have as high of expectations for certain students? And so it's a social justice issue. It's an issue that we really are taking seriously. It's we've received some calls saying, why aren't you looking at females? Why aren't you looking at males who are white? We're looking at all demographics, and wherever those demographics are shown inequitable opportunities, we will be addressing the focus. And it's something that the community has been asking for a long time. Now there's a nationwide effort. The president has an effort called My Brother's Keeper, which is basically their Males of Color initiative across the country. What I think is different, though, is we are already seeing drastic efforts like the Unidos Project and Mission Graduate, who are really focused at systemic and collective impact so that the community can change and turn a corner of where we're going. Albuquerque Public Schools has done a great job over the past 6-7 years of closing the opportunity and the achievement gap. However, we haven't done enough. The gaps still persist, and with having a majority-minority population, those gaps shouldn't be present. And so how do we change that? How do we improve academics for all students? It's something that the board has put their full weight behind and have charged the administration to keep working on. And it is a huge focus of ours. And it plays right into the Unidos project because as you're talking about those very personal stories of students who need support, that's what Unidos is about. And what I really want to emphasize is, it is not just coming to West Mesa on September 20th and you think you're going to find all the right answers, but you're going to find the connections to find your own path, because we do have an exorbitant amount of resources in this state to really make everyone successful the way they want to be. It's getting them connected and providing those supports to move them forward.
You know what I find both fascinating and frustrating is that all my life, I have been aware of these issues because my parents always cared about education and were involved. And yet we take small steps, but we're still not there. And I'm curious to know, and I'm never sure, because I know you, Jennifer, I don't want to be disrespectful, so is it Dr. Gomez?
No, Jennifer's fine.
Jennifer, you're in a unique position at UNM in that you deal with students every single day. What do you hear? What do you see? Why do you think this, even with all the resources and the efforts, why does this continue to be such a struggle?
Well, I can tell you that for us, it's number one is financial. A lot of our students and families are just not making it. And so the number one reason our students drop out at UNM is due to finances. So either they are not able to continue on the lottery, or a family member has lost a job, and so they're also having to work to support the family. So that is the number one reason that we find. And I think that's nationally.
And I think that some people in this state have a hard time with that explanation because everybody thinks, first of all, there's a perception out there that everybody at UNM is on the lottery. Right. And it's actually a small percentage of students who are on the lottery because, again, you have to go right out of high school. There are a number of requirements. But the other real issue is it's not totally cost-free. There are things, it's a wonderful program.
Right.
But the biggest issue there is you have to be able to spend the time in school, and for a lot of families or individuals, still dedicate time to work. Is that part of the explanation behind the financial difficulty?
That's one. We find that our students are working 30 hours or more. So a lot of times that takes time away from studying and being in class. So we are trying to figure out ways on how we can provide more incentives, funding to support our students through their financial crises.
And the average age of a UNM student is about 26, correct?
Yes.
So there are a lot of things there that I think people, when you talk about college, they have a different idea of what UNM is than the reality. Now, I'm the world's biggest cheerleader for the University of Mexico because I went to school there. UNM changed my life. I'm pleased that both our sons decided to go there, but it's a wonderful place with so much opportunity. If we could really, through Unidos, through the Males of Color, through our efforts at APS and across the community, just have more of an opportunity like those you're trying to create, and getting people to sometimes really hear what we're saying, that this is something completely doable. And I think one of our challenges is that because those of us involved in education do have so much information, that sometimes we, even though we try, we still speak sometimes in a language, in a conversation that folks don't always hear. But what we want them to know is these programs are there for you, and there's no cost, and it's completely realistic. I hope that's what you find at the next resource fair too, that people get that message. And in the schools now, we now have career counselors, career and college counselors at the high school level. They're accessible. Parents can come in along with students. What else would you say?
Well, and I think the other big thing is all of this work is changing is expectations. We are changing the expectations that students need to be going to kindergarten ready. Kindergarten is vastly different from even when I was in school, and you'll laugh because that wasn't too long ago.
7 years ago.
But you know, it's important for students to not only start preschool at 3 years old, 4 years old, to be able to make that transition into kindergarten. And across the social economic spectrum, parents are reluctant to do that in our community. So changing the expectations that we have to start preparing our students with colors and numbers so that they are prepared to become proficient at 3rd grade with reading, and then that they're proficient at in middle school at writing an argumentative essay, and then in high school that they're really going down the path to find their career, and then transitioning into the higher education, because it is so essential for our economy to move forward that we have individuals who at least have credentials. And there are many individuals, and we're working on this, on bringing students back. Central New Mexico Community College is doing a great job with Unidos in really attracting students who are close to graduation or close to a certificate, but have stopped because of family or personal reasons. And how do we give those individuals back and tell them it's not too late? So raising the expectations that really education matters. You know, pre-K through 12th grade is free. And so we really need to push those expectations. And I just came from a meeting on truancy, and you know, I'm reminded that it's not just ensuring that expectations are high, it's ensuring that our community understands that students need to be present so that they can learn. One really interesting fact that I think you know is that our highest rates of truancy are in kindergarten, 1st and 2nd grade. It is very, very, very important for parents to understand with all of this work that as they continue to better themselves, that they keep their students in school, that they have them present, that if they don't have a fever, that they send them to school just because they're complaining of a little aches and pains. Sure, we all need mental health days, but at the same time, but it's important. It's important that they're present and to have those conversations about the expectations of school. That school is not a place for daycare and passing time. School is a place for them to explore the world, and the opportunities that students are given. I'm taken back. We just had the orientation for our college to career high school, which has more than doubled in numbers. We now have 140 students who are attending that. Those students are focused on earning an associate's degree by the time they finish high school. Those opportunities and the amount of money that they will be saving themselves long term, there's so many areas of choice. We just have to allow each individual person to find their own path, and that's what we're trying to do with Unidos.
So we have just a few minutes left, so we want to plug again that the resource fair is going to be at West Mesa High School on Saturday, September 20th. There'll be information on UNM's website, aps.edu. You can call any one of us if you would like more information. Is there anything else you think people need to know? Lunch and childcare will be provided?
A children's corner will be available so that all families feel comfortable to come.
And I have to tell you that in the little bit of work that I've done with some of the women behind the scenes, and I think a couple of guys too, but it is that sense of community also. And I think one of the things that sort of sometimes spills into the challenge of getting past high school is that K through 12 really is an expectation in this country. It's an expectation. Where college is still looked at as, you know, icing on the cake. But I think one of the things that UNM does beautifully is its outreach to students. And as I found out, no one wants parents there really so much anymore. But you hear the stories. But the approach in helping students understand that it's one semester at a time.
It is.
You don't necessarily, the goal, of course, is always to finish, but it is completely doable. So for the university level, I imagine parents and students, anyone who feels that for some reason there are obstacles, your office is always available to them.
Yes, it is. We're the Student Success Center at the university, 277-7000. Easy number to remember, but if any families have any questions, and it was part of also the collaboration with the Unidos Project to create that one-stop center to provide information.
But I think what's really critical is September 20th. It's Saturday, 10 to 2. Whether you are wanting to find your own personal path, or whether you are going down your own personal path, come out, make those connections, because you will be able to impact the community by just the information that you will get from that opportunity. Everyone's invited. There will be no language barriers, so anyone who needs help or not, just come and really spend some time at West Mesa High School. That'll change your perception of education in general.
And in the last minute that we have beyond September 20th, which is a big event, but really the Unidos Project overall mission is
to increase Latino student success, and we're working across 4 different strategies, from bringing back students to working with legislators, even looking at policies, and really listening to our community on how we can serve our community to best meet the needs of students and families.
And people shouldn't hear that it's just Latino student success.
Exactly.
Because as we are looking at the minority population, as we increase the academic achievement of all students, our economy will improve, our city will improve, and our state will improve. And so that's what the goal is.
Absolutely, and we would be remiss if we didn't mention that but you get in trouble when you start mentioning individual partners. There are so many of them, but you can always go to the Unidos Project website and take a look. Everyone in this city who is concerned about this project, I think, is pretty much on board. So we wish you the greatest of success.
Thank you.
We hope that we can continue to be a good partner. And if there's anything else, we have your website address on the screen. People can always go there. Anything that I've missed?
I think we covered it all. We just want to thank APS's partnership.
All right, terrific. Well, Doctor, even though I know you as Jennifer, Dr. Gomez-Chavez, it's a pleasure to have you. Thank you
so
for your
much.
time and for being with
Thank
us.
you.
And soon enough, I don't have to call him Doctor yet, but Joseph Escobedo, the APS Chief of Staff, thank you for all your work in this area.
Thanks.
Thank you.
And thank you for watching the APS 30. We'll be back next month with a totally new topic. In the meantime, remember, you can always go to aps.edu. If you'd like to learn about Albuquerque Public Schools, you can always call me if there's something that you're interested in and we haven't yet covered. Have a great day. Thanks.